Good day, sir. I Cadet Third Class Dumanig, one of the group member of Group 5. So, the topic I will report is all about the Article 33 and 34. So, in Article 33, effects of the penalties of suspension from any public office, profession, or calling, or the right of suffrage. The suspension from public office, profession, or calling, and the exercise of the right of suffrage shall disqualify the offender from holding such office or exercising such profession or calling or right of suffrage during the term of the sentence. The person suspended from holding public office shall not hold another having similar functions during the period of his suspension. So, in Article 33, suspension could be imposed before the execution of the action or in order to execute proceedings, and this will not considered as a penalty since it is merely one of the measures of prevention mentioned under Article 24 of this code. So, yung suspension, maaari na siyang i-impose even wala pang final yung judging, yung court, or even pending pa yung case mo sa court. And this will not be considered as penalty but rather a preventive measures which is cited under Article 24. And then, so when when yung suspension is imposed either as a principal penalty or as an accessory penalty, it will have the effect of prohibiting the country from holding public office or exercising his right of suffrage during the period of his suspension. So, dito sa Article 33, it's talk about sa mga epekto kapag pinatawan ka ng court ng penalty of suspension. So, kapag pinatawan ka ng suspension, even if even if such suspension is imposed as a principal or accessory, it will have an effect of prohibiting such offender or accused from holding public office or from exercising this profession or calling. So, meaning, madidescribe nyo na ang right sa pagpatuloy ng work nyo sa office mo or public office, and then madiscontinue mo na yung pag-exercise mo na iyong profession or calling and exercising the right of suffraging the period of his suspension. And even your right of suffrage or yung right mo to vote and to be voted will be suspended during the period of your suspension. So here are the effects in Article 33. A is disqualification from holding such office or the exercise of such profession or right of suffrage during the term of the sentence. And letter B cannot hold another office having similar functions during the period of suspension. And in Article 34, civil interdiction. So, civil interdiction shall deprive the offender during the time of his sentence of the rights of parental authority or guardianship, either as to the person or property of any ward, of marital authority, or the right to manage his property and of the right to dispose of such property by any act or any conveyance and inter vivos. So in Article 34, so civil interdicted considered unworthy of the trust reposed in him, and that he is deprived of his parental and marital authority, and if he is a guardian, he is likewise deprived of his power to exercise authority over the person and property of his ward. He could not also manage his own property, and he is prohibited by law to dispose of his property by any act or conveyance inter vivos. So, he may, however, validly dispose of his property by act, conveyance, conveyance mortis causa. And then, so, ano nga ba ibig sabihin ng inter vivos or mortis causa? So, ang inter vivos is a transfer or gift made during one's lifetime. So, when we say inter vivos, ito ang isang gift para ibigay sa isang tao during the span of your life or during the time na nabubuhay ka pa. So, this one under sa provision na to, bawal kang mag-dispose ng property mo or by any act or any conveyance inter vivos. So, bawal ka nang magbigay ng properties or may donate ng properties during your lifetime. Kapag tinatawag ka ng penalty na civil interdiction but hindi bawal kapag nag-dispose ka ng property mo by act or conveyance of mortis causa. So, ang mortis causa is giving of the gift is made in expectation of approaching death. So, it means mortis causa is kabaliktaran siya sa inter vivos. So, di ba yung inter vivos is implemented mo ito habang nabubuhay ka pa. While mortis causa is kapag dead or shugi ka na. So, yun yung meaning sa mortis causa. And then, civil interdiction also is one of the restrictions on capacity to act but does not exempt the offender from certain obligations, as when the latter arise from his acts or from property relations in Article 34 Civil Code. It is an accessory penalty imposed upon a person sentenced to the principal penalties of reclusion, temporal, and reclusion perpetua in Article 41 RPC. It covers depression of the following rights. First is the parental authority. Second is guardianship to as to the person and property of any ward. Number 3 is marital authority. Fourth is right to manage his property. Number 5, right to dispose of such property by any act or any conveyance inter vivos in Article 34 RPC. And here are some questions about in Article 34. So, may a person civilly interdicted appoint an agent to manage his property? So the answer is no. For the act of the agent is also the act of the principal by acting through an agent. The civilly interdicted person is doing indirectly what the law prohibits to be done directly. Moreover, one of the causes for extension of agency is civil interdiction. So 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 in notes and cases in the revised penal code in Article 1919 agency is extinguished. First is by its revocation. Second is by the withdrawal of the agent. Third, by the death, civil interdiction, insanity or insolvency of the principal or of the agent. Number 4 is by dissolution of the firm or corporation which entrusted or accepted the agency. Number 5, by the accomplishment of the object or purpose of the agency. Number 6, by the expiration of the period for which the agency was constituted. Second question is, can the civilly interdicted person prepare a last will and testament? The answer is yes. For what the law prohibits is the disposition of the property by an act inter vivos. Further, the will does not dispose of the property at the time of its making, but at the time of his death, subject to the legal requirements under the laws on successions and the laws of court. And and in the last question is, does the conviction of adultery carry the accessory of civil interdiction which deprive the person of the rights to manage her property and to dispose of such property inter vivos? So the answer is the conviction of adultery does not carry the accessory of civil interdiction. Under Article 333 of the same code, the penalty for adultery is prison correctional in its medium and maximum periods. It is clear, therefore, that the crime of adultery does not carry the accessory penalty of civil interdiction, which deprive the person of the rights to manage her property and to dispose of such property inter vivos. And
Here the effects in Article 34. A is deprivation of the following rights. First is parental rights. Second is guardianship over the ward. Third is martial authority. And fourth is right to manage property and to dispose of the same by acts inter vivos. And letter B is civil interdiction is an accessory penalty to the following principal penalties. First is if death penalty is commuted to life imprisonment. Second is reclusion perpetua. Third is reclusion temporal. And fourth is he can dispose of such property by will or donation mortis causa.
and that would be all of my report. Thank you for listening.